What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Denise Salcedo, and we are just a couple days away from TNA Wrestling Victory Road, taking place September 13th in San Antonio, Texas. And with me right now, I have the two men in the main event. We have the challenger for the TNA World Championship, former champion Moose, and we have the current TNA World Champion, Nic Nemeth, joining us here today. Thank you so much to the both of you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, man. I'm going to get started with Moose. Moose, you are going into this former champion, now seeing yourself as the challenger. How do you feel heading into this big matchup?
I feel very confident. I mean, whoever watches TNA and know the story with me and Nick is this is not our first time doing battle. We wrestled a few months ago when I was a champion and he was a challenger, and I successfully beat him, clean 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. So I have the blueprint and I have the game plan to how to beat Nic Nemeth. A bunch of guys have failed. I haven't. So I'm very confident. If anybody is nervous, it should be Nick because he's never pinned me. He's never beat me. So I'm very confident.
How do you feel about that, Nick? He sounds very confident. I believe it.
Well, Moose has a halted way of speaking that always sounds like he's confident, but it just, to me, sounds like he's, I don't know, needs a nap. But everybody's different, and he makes a great point. I can't believe I'm saying this. Moose makes a great point. Yeah, that'll be taken out of context. He makes one good point. A lot of people have tried to beat him and failed. I am one of them. He beat me last time. He kicked my ass. And he's always seemed to have had a lot of help, it seems. People behind the scenes, his team, the system, they're always kind of involved. And I feel like the first time they weren't involved was that 6-man match that we had. And that was the first time that he lost. And it really goes to show that I wanted to say Moose was one of the greatest TNA champions of all time, and because on paper he is. But then you see that, just like Barry Bonds' home runs, you see a little asterisk next to it, and you go, parentheses, the system, 37 times in a row, they kind of helped him out. And you go, So then you almost think that he's surrounded by so many yes men that in his mind he probably thinks he can beat anyone. But really, if he takes a minute to think about it, he has to doubt that he can beat anyone on his own. So as much as he beat me last time, I'm kind of famous for getting back up and fighting one way or another from underneath, from getting the carpet pulled out from underneath me, you name it, and finding a way to not just steal the show, but actually win and hang on to that title. So I look forward to this match, one, because I do need to beat Moose one-on-one. I have not. He beat me in our one encounter, and he did so pretty dominantly. So he thinks he has the blueprint down, and I appreciate that. But this is where he is known for being a TNA champion, but not known for evolving into the future to where you come up with a different game plan. If there's a 7-game World Series, you don't just keep doing the same thing if you lost the first game. I'm totally switching it up. I will still be me, the person who doesn't quit, doesn't stop, doesn't get tired, doesn't get outworked, steals a show from himself, and proves why he should be champion. But now I have it with an extra chip on my shoulder to beat the one man I never could for the title. I look forward to it on Friday. We are going to beat the hell out of each other. We won't be laughing. We won't be making jokes. We'll be staring each other into each other's eyes, saying, I am going to go as far as I possibly can to make sure I end this and beat you, and he's going to be thinking the exact same thing. So the winner will be the fans and TNA for having a great champion, no matter who comes out on top, but I promise you it will be me.
Moose, you held the championship. That's your second time around for 189 days. A nice lengthy reign there. When you go back and you look at everything that you were able to accomplish up until Slammiversary when Nic Nemeth took that championship bout, how do you look back on that reign?
I'm gonna correct you. It was actually my 3rd reign.
Correct.
As
Correct.
TNA champion. How do I look at that reign? My next one would be my best one. That's the mindset I have. I did some great things the first time I ever was champion. I did some great things the second time I was champion, and this last time I think I took it to another. Took my skill to another level, and beating Nick is gonna force me take my skill to an even better level. And that's the plan I have. I'm very confident. And Nick says something about evolving, coming in with the same game plan. My lovely mother once told me, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So the game plan,
Is
Nick
to
hasn't
not evolve.
Nick hasn't
Okay, got it.
proven that he could stop my game plan, because the last time I faced him, I won. So why wouldn't I go in? It's like telling a fighter, "Oh, the hook is working. Don't throw the hook." Why? It's working. So I come in there planning on doing exactly what I did the first time we wrestled. Nick didn't have any answers for it. He couldn't stop it. I won. I retained my championship, and that's the same game plan
Was
I'm going to use to
I
win my
have a
championship.
question. I have a
And
question.
to
Was the
remind
hook
you,
working when you lost that 6-man match? Was
I
the
mean,
hook working then?
why was the 6-man match created?
I don't know.
Because of how dominant I was as champion. I
I
haven't
thought it was
been
because you
pinned.
always had 4 people watching your back.
I
That's not
haven't
it.
been
That's
pinned
not.
in 2 years. So Santino was like, "Oh," because I put my foot in my ass.
Oh, we get the truth now. All right, what do you got?
I bragged about being a dominant champion in front of Santino, and Santino, being an asshole, said, "Oh, you want to brag that you're the most dominant champion TNA history? I'm going to make this match to stack all the odds against you." And that's why that match was created. And you know what? I'm not going to complain. I didn't get the job done.
Appreciate
I
that.
was,
Yeah, look at this. Look at a little accountability from Moose. Respect.
I lost that night, but I mean, this match against Nick is different than a 6-man elimination match. It's 1-on-1. I beat Nick. I know how to beat him. As great as Nick is, I did it easily. So why change anything?
Well, Moose, I think you were right. The odds were stacked against you. With that being said, that was the night that Nick, you walked out with championship gold around your waist. Now, I want to start off by asking you how it felt during that moment to not only get your victory, but then go on and begin your reign. First time ever getting the chance to be TNA world champion, and then also getting to walk in to bust it open with some gold.
I would be an ambassador to this great company, whether I was a champion or not. I'm happy to be the champion, and I really feel like there was something special there because Moose was a dominant champion. He was. He had the system watching his back every step of the way, and he didn't really defend the title that often. So I really went above and beyond to let everybody know, if I come out on top and win this title, I will be a fighting champion. I will be fighting on Impacts, pay-per-views, you name it. It's going to happen because I want everyone to see how I test up to everybody else on the roster and people who aren't on the roster. So since I became champion, I don't know the number, but I've defended the title probably as much as Moose did in 2.5 years. So I've done it so many times because I need that just for me to be able to sleep at night going, should I be the champion? I know I want to lead this team of TNA. I know I love the infrastructure in the background and Gail and Tommy and Ariel behind the scenes. I love this, and I love this roster. And I know Moose was dominant as hell as champion, but he probably defended the title maybe 10 times in those 2.5 years. So for me to go above and beyond and say every night, I challenge myself to outdo what I did the night before. And I also lay that down for the rest of the roster. Hey, I'm the champ right now. It could be any of us, but right now I hope you follow my lead and want to defend yourself, defend your titles, and outdo yourself every night, because that's the reason tickets are going so well for TNA. That's the reason, that and the infrastructure and the roster and the people behind the scenes and everything that we're working for is a hot ticket right now, because we put on a great show, and it means so much more when the stories and pieces are there. And the story right now is Moose has beat me, and I have not beat him in a one-on-one, and I need this on Friday. Just know we're going to beat the hell out of each other one way or another.
So before I get to the ticket sale stuff, because I do want to talk about that, Moose, how do you feel about what Nick just said in terms of him defending the title more than you?
I mean, that's the kind of wrestler he is. I'm a prize fighter. I try to save the big wins, when I'm getting more money, more notoriety, more eyes on the product. I mean, congratulations, Nick. You like to wrestle every week. I mean, I've been through a lot. I've been through 8 long years of playing in the National Football League, and plus 12 years of pro wrestling. So I kind of pick when I want to do my damage, and
You
that's
played a
what I call
sport
it.
before this, so it's cool to be lazy.
I'm not lazy at all. Anybody that knows me, if you talk about the hardest working man on the roster, everybody says my name as number one. So it's
But
not
just
being
like in the
lazy.
gym and stuff, not really at the shows.
I mean, call it what you want.
All right.
I'm one of the greatest wrestlers ever to step through TNA, and being lazy didn't get me there. Um, and you know this. You deep down inside you, you know this. So yeah, you could defend your title every Thursday on Access TV if you want. That's what makes you great. What makes me great is when you put somebody in front of me, I dismantle them, I dominate them, and I'm send them home packing. And that's what I'm going to do to you.
Damn.
Well, I definitely can't wait to see this matchup here, but I do want to touch on something that you mentioned, Nick, which was the ticket sales, because TNA has been doing very well, been selling out venues, great, energetic, enthusiastic crowds. I want to get both of your thoughts on that because whenever you have like a hot crowd, I mean, it's great for everybody, not just everybody within TNA wrestling, but just great for the business in pro wrestling, period. So, Nick, I do want to start off with you. I want to get your thoughts, given that you are the champion right now, and we are seeing these very cool crowds.
Yeah, it is. By the way, a crowd changes everything. A crowd makes an average show an amazing show, and an amazing show the greatest of all time. And that is something that you've heard a million times, but it is so real. And I will give credit where it's due. Moose being the prize fighting, sometimes fighting champion for years, set that ground level infrastructure of the pieces behind the scenes to slowly rumble TNA back to where it was, and getting it the motors running and getting everyone behind it. He's a huge factor in that. Let's not be ridiculous and say he's a bad guy, so like he doesn't have any responsibility for this. He laid the groundwork for a long term champion and for people to associate him with TNA, and he did a great job with that. And now, hopefully, people who are associating Nic Nemeth instead of Dolph Ziggler with TNA, hopefully years down the road, that's what they say about me. I hope that is the case because I look forward to being the flag bearer and ambassador for TNA as champion or not. But now that I am champion, I want to defend it every step of the way. I want people to know that when you come to our show, you're going to see a fighting champion, and not just going out there and having someone watch his back. Nobody watches my back. I love that. I live for it. I have to overcome the odds to win every time. So I feel like that is hopefully bringing in a couple of faces too, like the equity that you have in me. You know me for 20 years of stealing the show, and now you know me as the TNA World Champion. Hopefully that is what's getting more people in the door, even more so than they were over the last 6-8 months. So hopefully that is the case. We continue to be a hot ticket. I won't joke about that. That is legit. We are a group of talent that not just fights for themselves, fights as a team. Because we want people to storm the doors as fans. We want to sell out another arena, and we want to come back and go to an arena that's 1,000 seats bigger next time, and then we sell that one out, and you keep going and keep going. And what it really takes is time and a badass roster willing to do everything it takes for the team. And sometimes you got to suck it up, and it's not your night. You got to take one for the team and help TNA out. And I've known that role before, and I've done it before, but right now I'm leading the way, and everyone's jumping onto my cape and riding the rest of the way, and I hope it's one more notch, and I hope in 5 years when I lose this title, someone else takes it even higher.
Dang, I love that. Now, I do want to get your thoughts on this, Moose, because you've been with TNA for quite some time now, and you've seen a lot of changes. You've seen it go through a bunch of, phases and whatnot. But right now, Nic Nemeth said it, it's a hot selling ticket. For you, getting to see those changes and that, getting to see TNA, get that buzz once again, what does that mean to you?
I've been in TNA through the ups and the downs. You're 100% correct. And I mean, I think guys like Nick and guys like the Hardys coming in, the onset of Joe Hendry becoming a megastar helps. I think one thing that was lucky for us is WWE let Nick go, and Nick being a stellar athlete and a superstar over there. When he came here, he brought a ton of his fans with him. Same thing for the Hardys. Everybody loves the Hardys. So when they came to our product, they brought a ton of their fans over. And then Joe Henry is like an overnight. I hate to use that word because he's not an overnight sensation, but you know what I mean when I say that. He's the man, and now he has a ton of fans. And a bunch of his fans tune in to come check him out. And when you do that, then you see guys like myself and guys who are super talented on our roster, and you're like, oh man, TNA is actually fucking awesome, fucking rules. Like, I'm gonna start watching this show. So it's work from everybody on our roster, and I think Nick hit around the money. We're more like a family. We fight for each other, and when I kick Nick's ass this Friday, I'm kicking his ass for the next man in the locker room. And when he kicks my ass, he's kicking my ass for the next guy in the locker room. And that's how we do things. And I think we're in a positive place. And from what I was told when I got here, San Antonio, at least for Victory Road, is going to be another sellout. So that is looking real positive, and I can't wait to see what next year, what 2025 is for TNA.
I love that. I do have one final question since you did bring it up. You mentioned WWE and whatnot. NXTNA, that is the thing. You mentioned Joe Hendry. We're going to see Jordan Grace with an open challenge. I mean, there's a lot happening. Down the line, do you think we're going to see you, Moose, there? And Nick, do you think that there's going to be an opportunity for you to go and do something there too once again? How does that work?
That right there is above my pay grade. I just do it as I told. Right now, I'm worried about the man in front of me, Nic Nemeth, and being a 4-time TNA World Champion. So that's where all my focus lies. I mean, I get all the Twitter mentions and all the DMs about a possible matchup with another African-Nigerian guy that is with NXT. And if it happens, it happens. I'm sure we'll tear the roof off. But as right now, my focus is on Nic Nemeth.
I love that. I love that. Nick, was there anything else you wanted to add?
No, Moose can do anything he wants, and he's made it clear before he's had offers to go all over the world, but he's stuck with TNA, and I appreciate that because that his legacy will be that one day, years from now, that he'll be associated right at the top of the list of some of the greatest TNA champions of all time, and I love that. And again, I focus on me. I know for Busted Open, I got to watch all the wrestling shows now, and I do see what's going on, and I love seeing Jordan Grace or one of our guys or gals showing up over there, or them coming to our show, and I love that for all wrestling fans right now. You can watch on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, who knows, and you don't know who's going to show up where or who's going to turn on who or who's going to debut. What a great time to be a wrestling fan, and I'm glad TNA is another company that is kicking ass, and again, working toward another sellout, working toward just giving the fans what they want, but telling great stories and having everyone fighting for this brand, because we know we don't have $1 billion backing behind us. We're fighting every step of the way, and I love that. It's almost like how I value my career. Like, I fought from underneath the whole way, didn't have someone pulling for me, trying to get into that golden circle that's so hard to get into without any help, and that's what TNA is doing right now, and the fans behind us are that help, and I really appreciate every step of the way. And again, because I respect the fans so much, and they're helping us sell out shows, that's the reason when I step in the ring with Moose, I'm going to kick his ass, because I have to give everything I have. I owe it to them, to the fans being behind us and the stories that we have put forward. So I look forward to Victory Road on Friday. We have Impact on Saturday too. And of course we do like the cool meet and greets with the fans afterwards. And I feel like that's like the family aspect where we give back. We get a few minutes to chat with somebody and tell me a story. They show me a picture from 18 years ago that they took with me. And it's a great time. And TNA loves giving back, and we're doing a bunch of stuff in town promoting, but also we got to go to like Hernandez's wrestling school yesterday. It was like we get to do some cool stuff and check out some up and coming wrestlers. So this is a great trip for me. I look forward to being an ambassador for TNA, as champion or not, but I'm not losing for the next 5 years.
All right, well, there you guys heard it. You heard it from the champ, Nic Nemeth, the challenger Moose. That is going to be happening September 13th. Do not miss it. Victory Road. I'm going to post the links in the description box below where you can get all that information, as well as you can follow Moose, Nic Nemeth, TNA Wrestling, and all of that great stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much to Moose and Nic Nemeth, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye, everyone.